Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Akakwadash, and I want to say Shalom to Akman Akwalt out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled, White Knights Are Pathetic. All right? White Knights are pathetic. All right? And this is another concept of the world. Okay? And before we get started up, I'm going to go and get what a white knight is. Because apparently there's a couple different variations of what the word means. But I want to go and look up what a white knight is. Okay? A white knight. So it says, what is a white knight meaning? Okay. It says, a hero who comes to the rescue. All right. But that's not really what it means. A white knight. Let's go to Reddit. What is white knighting? We'll open here so my private account doesn't come up. So it says, what is white knighting? It says, saying someone is white knighting is an accusation that they are inserting themselves into an argument or a situation for the sole purpose of trying to look good and win points with people. It's saying that they are just trying to play the knight in shining armor. It also means someone who jumps in to defend someone who didn't ask for or want defending. All right? It says, this one right here, this is pretty good. A white knight is someone who tries to protect the princess. On the internet, it's usually some virgin protecting some moral code without having any experience of life hardships, preaching some tolerance without having any grasp on the content. Okay? Right here is a good example. This is the big one, right? Another example is men who jump to a woman's defense in any argument, even if the woman may well be the one in the wrong. Okay? It says, generally speaking, a white knight is a classic hero who protects a chaste princess. Okay, it says, now it's used sarcastically to describe men who insert themselves into other people's battles to satisfy their own complexes, such as SJWs, social justice warriors. All right, no, you have to treat her correctly. All right, not that you should be beating up on women, but these guys will do anything. You tell, a woman could be like, calling you all sorts of different names, and you tell her to shut up, and this guy will come in there and beat the hell out of you. Okay. This woman could literally be going on, I'm going to take the kids from you because you're this and that, and you're ugly, and I never liked you anyway, and I never loved you, and I slept with other men while we were married, and that's why I divorced you anyway. And you could say, man, you just shut up, get out of here. You never were a good woman, you bi, you know what? And then you'll have some guy that'll still, hey man, leave her alone. Let's go get that leave her alone meme. I love that meme, man. Hey man, leave her alone. And that's exactly how they are. Hey man, leave her alone. White knights, man. And what's the title of the lesson? Let's go back. White knights are pathetic. All right, so let's go and get the definition of pathetic. All right, because if we're that's the one thing you got to understand. And even in Bible study, is that you got to make sure that you're using the right definitions, and you have an understanding, all right, of the definition. Because you might hear the word pathetic and be like, I know what pathetic means. Well, what does it mean? Can you quote the definition? All right, because a lot of these definitions, if you're really speaking on something, you should learn, if not know the definition, have a grasp of what it means, but then learn to understand it. Like, for example, circumspect means to be wary and unwilling to take risks. If you go and look up circumspect, all right, and I'm not boasting or being proud, I'm just saying this is how you should do it. Wary and unwilling to take risks. All right, you should be able to know the exact definition. All right, what does pathetic mean? For example, I don't really know exactly all what pathetic means. Pathetic is someone who's embarrassing. A pathetic. It's despicable to see. It's an embarrassment, right? Something pathetic. But the definition's probably going to say something a lot different. So let's go and get that. All right, and that's why sometimes we should learn the definitions of things, because you can't begin to grasp what a word means without knowing what a word means. You can't fully, understand it. Okay. If you're gonna work on an engine of a car, you need to know what every single part does. Okay. You can't know what some of it does and then go in there blindly. All right. You need to know what the definition means, and that's why we try and we're not all perfect with it. All right. There's certain words that we don't know, but that's what the whole thing is, that we try to learn them. All right, we try to learn them, and you don't have to remember it perfectly, but with a word that you get a lot, you should have a good, decent, deep grasp of it. All right, and pathetic means it's not the one of arousing pity, but it's the second one, which is miserably inadequate, of a very low standard, and that's the type of definition you want to remember. Pathetic means what? A miserably inadequate of a very low standard. What is inadequate? Okay.
Inadequate.
All right. Lacking the quality or quantity required, insufficient for a purpose. Useless, basically, right? Useless. All right. Inefficient, bad, hopeless, useless, inferior. All right. So, miserably inferior. All right. Pathetic. Oh, that's pathetic. You're pathetic. All right. You're of a very low standard. If you're pathetic, and that's really all you need to remember what pathetic means. Pathetic means of a very low standard. So, someone who's pathetic is of a very low standard. All right. Feeble. All right. Pitiful, deplorable, and not pitiful, because pitiful means that inspires pity. All right. We don't pity these people. We don't pity the fool. All right. We don't pity the fool. All right. What is pity? Let's go and get that definition. Pity means what?
Pity.
All right, this feeling of sorrow or compassion caused by the suffering and misfortunes of others. We don't feel compassion for these people that put themselves in these positions for these women, man. You know, these women, you know, there's one thing if a man's, you know, beating the living hell out of a woman, that's different. And really at that point, it's not really for someone to even jump in and get in the middle of someone else's business. But at that case, I could understand you don't want to, if someone's beating someone to death, you might want to intervene like that. I could understand that at least. Not that necessarily you'd want to put yourself in that position, okay, because it's really none of your business at the end of the day, but I could see why people would want to do it, all right? But that could put you, that's, going back, we mentioned circumspect, that is wary and unwilling to take risks. That's not circumspect, all right? And remember, it says, be circumspect, all right? That's a scripture, all right? Let's go and get it. Walk circumspectly, all right, which doesn't say be circumspect, it says walk circumspectly, which is telling you to be circumspect. All right, Ephesians 5:15, it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, okay? Redeeming the time because the days are evil, okay? And you got to be circumspect because you might get in that situation even if a man's hitting a woman, and it's not a good situation to be in because a man shouldn't be just beating the hell out of a woman like that, shouldn't be beating the hell out of no one, all right, regardless. But you should be wary to get involved in that situation because, like it says, the days are evil. That guy might, you know, have a gun on him, and he might just shoot you dead. Okay, and that wasn't circumspect jumping into that situation, right? And as much as you'd like to stop that situation, you know, it's not all the time, you know, we're not to be white knights, all right, all the time. Okay? We are for this truth, defenders of this gospel, all right, but not for, you know, people, just anybody and people, all right? Now, you know, if there was a brother or something, of course, you know, someone tried to hit him, of course you're going to jump to someone's aid like that, right? But that's different within this ministry. All right, if you're teaching and someone, you know, tries to lay hands on a brother, yeah, you're gonna jump in to end that situation. But once the situation is ended and the aggressor is no longer, all right, being an aggressor, you don't have to wail on the guy and beat the hell out of him, all right, and stand there over here and just kicking his ass over and over again. All right, the situation's over. Hey man, get the hell out of here, right? And then that's it. You don't need to sit there and, you know, do a South Central style beatdown on him, you know, even he's already out and you're still kicking him in the teeth, right? No, it doesn't need to happen. Okay, there's a difference, all right? And white knighting is specifically putting yourself into a position that really has nothing to do with you, all right? It happens in person, it happens online, all right? You'll see, and I'm trying to be, you know, better with the language because, you know, not that it's a sin to say, you know, the word shit, but I just don't want my whole lessons to be, you know, sounding like an Eddie Murphy stand-up, you know? So tone it down a little bit because I get a you know, a little bit not what's the word? I get a little bit excited, all right, with it, and I start, you know, sometimes I'll say it over and over and over again. But not that it's, you know, if you can't handle it, then you can't handle it, all right? At the end of the day, you know, you can't go and try to insert, you know, your thoughts into the Bible, all right? In the Bible, nowhere does it say that you can't say the word shit, all right? You might say corrupt communication, but again, corruption is talking about corrupt things. If I was saying, really, you saying that the Bible says you can't swear, that's corrupt communication, okay? Because that's corrupt. What does corrupt mean? We're getting off track here. We're going to circle around. All right, what does corrupt mean? All right, guilty of dishonest practices, all right, as bribery, lacking integrity, or crooked. Guilty of dishonest practice. And what is dishonest? All right, dishonest. All right, what does dishonest mean? What? It means behaving or prone to behave in an untrustworthy or fraudulent way. What does fraudulent mean? All right, deception. What is deception? All right, and the action of deceiving someone. What is deceiving? All right, to cause someone to believe something that is not true, typically in order to gain some personal advantage. And the advantage that most of these Christians get out of, telling people that, oh, the Bible says you can't swear, it says you can't curse. It's usually it makes them feel righteous. All right, they get a righteous brownie point, right, for is what they think. All right, but the Bible also tells you. I spelt it wrong here, but you can see in Ecclesiastes 7:16. All right, it says, be not righteous over much, or as people would say now, over righteous. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why should thou destroy thyself? Because that's also, when you start doing that, you take on the persona and really the sin of pride. All right, you become prideful, okay? So, and by doing that, you cause someone to believe something that's not true. You made them believe that the Bible says you can't say the word shit. It doesn't say that anywhere. It doesn't say that you're going to go to hell or even be punished, or that it's a sin to say quote unquote bad words. Who made these words bad? Okay? Who made these words bad? Men. Men made these words bad, and they only have as much power behind them as you put behind them. All right? Shit is not a sin to say. Even the F word, all right, which I'm not going to make an example of and just say it for no reason. All right, because like I said, that's one of the words I love to use a lot. But it's not a sin to say it. All right. So continuing on, these people will jump in and what they do is it's just pathetic. They'll go on comment boards and there'll be a woman saying something that's completely out of line towards men. All right, saying, oh, men are trash, men are garbage and everything. And soon as the man tries to defend himself, they'll be like, oh, blah, 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 you're just this and that. And there's another word for these people. White knights. The word that's generally used for these people is simp. What is a simp? Okay, simp. All right, which goes back to a silly or foolish person, but it's a little bit different. Let's go to the Urban Dictionary here, right? Simp, someone who does way too much for a person they like. And that's the big thing about being simp, is you're doing too much. Anything for a sniff, man. A man who puts the hoes before the bros. All right, it's not necessarily about putting the hoes before the bros. A simp is really a woman worshiper. A woman worshiper. All right, that almost has put women to the point of being an idol. Okay, that's what it is. That's what it's become. All right, it says a word that everyone uses without the correct definition. It means a guy that is overly desperate for women, especially if she's a bad person or has expressed her disinterest in him, which he continues to obsess over. They're usually just virgins that will accept coochie from anyone regardless of who they are. All right. So it says simp, a male who is overly submissive to a female and gains nothing from it. So overly submissive that other guys cringe and feel ashamed when seeing them. This applies to males in relationships when they are so submissive that they say literally anything to be in favor with the female. All right, and it's absolutely true. All right, these guys will do anything to, and with that being said, all right, we've got some scriptures, we've got it. I want to go ahead and grab the video that we're talking about to show you it, and then we're gonna grab some comments and some scriptures, and then that'll be it. But here's the video, and it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. It's an embarrassment. So let's go ahead and play it. And mind you, we don't know necessarily the context, all right, of what this situation was, okay? So here you go. All right, so let's go back. And this is the woman in question. Watch how she goes out of her way to create a bad situation. And this is why you got to be careful around men. All right, women. And you women, you got to be careful too, because you can you can invoke a very bad situation. What is invoke? Okay. To invoke. All right. It's to call on a deity in a prayer. But another word is to invoke. To cause something, to bring something into effect is the way I'm using it. To invoke, to cause something to happen. You can invoke a very bad situation, all right? Because you got to realize these men, man, they're very simple, all right? Simp, right? Simple, all right? And simple goes back to the word stupid, all right? Dumb, all right? These men, a lot of these men out here in the world, especially the worldly men, all right? Mostly the worldly men, all right, will do anything for a woman, all right? And by you know, doing something like that, you can create a fight, a big shooting to break out or something. You got to realize the women in the society have a lot of power. All right, all they have to do is walk into a crowd, point at any man, say he touched me, he molested me, and then bam, you got a whole situation on your hands. People fighting that man fighting, I'm innocent, and hitting someone, that someone hits that someone pulls out a gun and shoots someone, and that's how easy a woman can create an issue. All right, because the society thrives, all right, off of woman worship, because it's a woman worship society, which is wicked. It's an evil society, as we're going to prove that it's wicked to be like that. Okay, it's wicked because men are to be in authority, not women. And sorry, not sorry. The Bible says it. Don't come for me and say I'm someone terrible. The Bible says it. So really, you don't hate us. Remember, if the world hates you, go and get it. John 15 and 18. This is red letter. This is Yahushua, the Son, speaking. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. There's a saying called "Don't kill the messenger," right? But that's what they do anyway. So let's continue to play it. Watch her behavior. Look, all these simps. Look at them.
Oh, shit. Blood clot. Oh, blood clot.
And you got some retard in the background saying, blood clot. Hee hee, blood clot. Just shut up, man. Just shut up. Dumb. This is a whole ignorant situation. All right? The woman was ignorant. All four of these men were ignorant. The guy that was drunk, being an asshole at the beginning, he was ignorant. Everybody's just ignorant. Just stupid. And this is a perfect example of the world and why you don't want to be around it, because everybody's just dumb. Everybody's stupid. As George Carlin would say, think about how dumb your average person is and then realize half of them are dumber than that. All right? Let's go and watch it again. And it's clear that she came up and said something, right? Look at these guys. This guy's the most simp of them all. He's not even doing anything. He's just stomping.
Oh, shit. Oh, blood clot. Oh, blood clot.
And the girl, they're probably like, are you going to screw us now? You're going to have sex with us now? Simple, man. These men are simple. So let's get a comment. It says, I went to, and I got the bottom of all of it, where people are actually speak the truth. If you want to know where all the truth is in Reddit, and I'm not talking about the truth as far as regarding to this gospel, but the truth, like the people that actually have sense, go to the bottom of the comment board, all right? Click controversial and go to the bottom. That's where you'll find them, all right? So it says, ultimate level simping right here, shaking my head. This person said, he was drunk, pushed the female, then got handled. I don't think that's simping. Stick to commenting about CPUs, computers, right? It says, I doubt you're protecting anyone from anybody, from anything anyway. Why would you need to protect somebody from something? It says, you would know about simping, huh? This person says, wow, you watch a lot of fight porn videos. I bet you can protect girls too. It's stupid, man. And this one says, attempted murder over pussy. They're not gonna get. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. And it's pathetic, man. It's pathetic. White knights are pathetic. Okay? It's pathetic to do that, man. Let's go and get second address, first address, 426, which is in the Apocrypha, if you're wondering where it's from. It was originally in the King James Bible before they removed it, all right, for an act of biblical destruction. All right, they removed it because it didn't fit the narrative that they wanted. And there's a lot of telling things in there, all right, that worldly, and mostly the Edomites, all right, didn't want in there. So they removed it, right? First address 4 and 26 says, yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. And this woman's basically got a knight, like she's royalty. She's got a company of knights, all right? A company, let's go and get that, a company of knights. I don't know what they would call them back then, but you can see it. You got a band of knights, a band of knights. Okay, and this is like Ren Fair stuff. It looks like a Ren Fair guild. But, it's like, a company of You shall not touch that woman, good sir. Remove thou hand before we deal with you speedily. It's ridiculous, man. And she's got a private little guild, a guild of knights, if you will. Unhand her this moment, sire. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. White knights are pathetic. And like it says, yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes. And I'm curious, I wonder what this says in the Good News Translation. Let's see. Sometimes it's not always entirely accurate, but I just want to see what it has to say. It says, interesting. Right here. It says, some men are driven out of their minds on account of a woman, and others become slaves for the sake of a woman. Please, Loretta. Please, Margaret. Please let me get a sniff, please. It's stupid. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing, man. So let's go on to the next comment. It says, simps unite. And this one says, and I'll say it, I said earlier it's not a sin, all right? And I wasn't going to say it unless I had context, but I'll read it. It says, she ain't going to fuck you, bro. It's true, and these men are, come on, Kelsey. Come on over here, baby. Come on, he ain't going to hurt you. It's just embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and not only is it embarrassing, it's wicked. It's wicked to be like that, man. It says, I mean, and I don't know the full context, but if she was talking big, I wouldn't have got involved, especially for a push. Especially if I didn't know her, but I can't really say because we didn't see the beginning. All right, and that's what she was. She was antagonizing that man, which is wicked to do for a woman. All right, it says for pushing a girl, big deal. This person says when simps get a chance to be alphas. All right, so let's get another one. The White Knights 2000. She was definitely being an idiot for even opposing a man in that state. Not that I'm saying men are better. But homie was in crash out mode. He was drunk. He was blackout, right? He didn't care. So she's antagonizing a wolf. All right, and then poking the wolf. Don't poke the bear. That's what they say. Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear, man. He was a wolf though because he was an Edomite. But don't poke the bear. She was over here poking the bear, and then everybody got upset when the bear lashed out. You dummies. So plus all the dudes are simps or related to her. Says, it's fucked up. She could have started the whole thing through sly comments and passive aggression, and it'll still have the same result. Right? Haha, the cop is like, totally understandable. Have a nice day. It says, he's just security. He isn't a cop. That's true. He wasn't a cop. This is sexist. Right? It's true. So it says, I don't know. I hate white knights. Women shouldn't be in the midst of a fight and shouldn't ever be talking trash to anyone unless they want to get treated like everyone else. And said, what is this? This is just sad for the three guys. It says, afterwards, the three guys and the girl had a foursome. At least that's what they seemed to fancy. That's what they were hoping. Afterward, and everybody clapped and said, yeah, you're a hero. Woohoo! And gave hand service to all three of those men, right? That's what they were hoping happened anyway, right? It says, wow, attempted murder. It says, man, what a beat down. So excessive. All right. And you see, you got more stupid comments and stuff. And it really is just an embarrassment. Okay, it's just an embarrassment. All right, white knights are a pathetic embarrassment. All right, so hell, I might even change it to are pathetic and embarrassment, but are pathetic and an embarrassment. But that's fine. If you want the longer title, all right, it's white knights are pathetic and an embarrassment. But I'm just gonna leave it as white knights are pathetic. But that's the official title of the lesson, right? So let's go get Isaiah 3 and 12. All right. And if you don't like the way I'm speaking, you can go ahead and leave, man. All right? If you can't handle it, then you can't handle it. You can't handle harsh language, then just go away. All right? Doesn't say anywhere that it's wrong to do. All right? We're not going to use it, overboard. All right? Sometimes we do get a little out of hand with it, but there's nothing wrong with it. All right? You're not going to be punished because you said the word shit or damn or ass, right? Isaiah 3 and 12 says, as for my people, children are their oppressors. Now, this is really speaking of Israel, all right? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are Israel, who are the people that the Lord chose, all right? And the only people that the Lord is dealing with, all right? But, Christians try to say, oh, God loves everybody. God doesn't love everybody. There's multiple scriptures that disprove that. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Yet I chose Israel. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. There's plenty of them, all right? There's plenty of them. Roughly paraphrasing those, of course. So there's plenty of them, but and well, we can be grafted in. No, remember in that scripture, right after it says it can be grafted in, what does it say? It says the word again. Let's go and get that real quick and knock that argument out real quick. Again means what?
Again.
Another time or once more. All right. To return to a previous position or condition. So remember that. Well, it's talking about the Gentiles. There's two different types of Gentiles. There's the Gentiles, and there's the Gentiles that are the Israelite foreigners that are scattered abroad. For example, if you take a let's see, if you take you take anybody and you let them grow up in this land, they're going to be called an American. Oh yeah, an American. They're American, right? I'm American, right? Because I live in America, I'm American, right? Right? But I'm not really American, right? Where am I from? All right, I live in America, but I'm not really American. All right, it's just like those people, those Israelites that were scattered abroad. They went to Greece or Macedonia or all these other places. They were called Macedonians. They're called Greeks. They were called Egyptians. They were called different things, right? But they weren't, they were called wherever they were. All right, wherever they were, Israel, the people that were in Israel that aren't Israelites called Israelis, or that's what they're called now. Is Israelis? They're not called Israelites, thankfully, right? But people that there's different names. If you're over in Mexico, you're not necessarily a Mexican, right? Just like how over in Israel, you're not an Israelite, but you're Israeli, right? There's certain different variants of that can go, but generally, if you're from Greek, you're considered. If you're from Greece, you're considered a Greek. Oh yeah, he's Greek. All right, he's American. All right, oh yeah, he's African. You got white people that are over there in South Africa, and they're called South African. They're African, right? Oh yeah, he's African, right? Oh, he's English. He's this or that, right? So we're called American. We're not necessarily American. We go back if you're a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American, and you might not even look like a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American. It goes back to the 12 tribes of Israel. If you go back to those tribes, down to that seed line of from what's the word I'm looking for? Descending, all right, descendants of Jacob, whose name was later changed Israel, the Israelites, right? If you're through that seed line, all right, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Then you're an Israelite, all right, because that's how we came through. Okay, and you might look like myself. I look like a so-called white dude. All right, so you can't say, "Oh, it's against white people." We're not against white people. We're against Edomites. All right, there's a difference. Okay, Esau is the devil. All right, and most Edomites do look like so-called white people, but not every so-called white person, all right, is an Edomite. All right, some might be Israelites. Some of them might be even other nations. Just like every so-called black person isn't an Israelite. Just because they look like a black person doesn't mean they're an Israelite. All right, some of those people are what they would call tares. Okay, in the Bible. All right, tares. So they look just like an Israelite, but they're not. All right, they're really the Edomites, the enemy's seed. Okay, so Isaiah 3:12 it says, and this is dealing with the Israelites, but this is very prevalent because it's going to show you in at the end here, right here. This is what it's going to show you right here who this all goes back to. So Isaiah 3:12, as for my people, the Israelites, children are the oppressors. Children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. So you have children that are oppressors. We're oppressed by children, and we have women ruling over us? That's ridiculous, isn't it? It says, "O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err." And who are these people that are really leading these jakes? They're following after Edomites, okay? And they're causing us to err, okay? Us that are in the world, not out of the world, okay? Because in this truth, it's different. It says, "They which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths." And really, that's why we're such in a messed up situation anyways, because we followed after heathen nations. All right, that's why the Lord came out with that commandment saying, learn not the way of the heathen, because if we were to learn the way of the heathen, we would be destroyed. And what do? We went against all of the commandments, all right, and we learned the way of the heathen, and now look at the state of us. Now look at the state, not only look at the state of us, look at the state of the world, man. It's terrible. It's an embarrassment, all right? And it's pathetic. 2nd Esdras 15:6 says, "For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." And this is wickedness. It's spread everywhere. Everyone's, the save the woman, save the every man, a man. It's in a situation where a woman could be a heroin addict, abusive woman, and she could still get the child over the man just because she's a child. Okay, she would get custody, all right, and that man would have to pay child support to that heroin addicted woman, and that money would go to that man that money would go to that woman who was just using it to get heroin. I saw a post on Reddit the other day. I believe it was either on Reddit or it was on Reddit, I believe, or somewhere else. And it was like this guy said he came over to get his daughter because he got temporary custody, and his mom, the daughter's mom, his ex-wife, was, smokes cigarettes and goes and gets, got a tit job and all these different things. And when his daughter came over, it was the first day of school the next day, and she had shoes with holes in it, man. Right? And the bottoms, the soles, and I tell you, these soles were torn up through the floor up, man. They were tore up from the floor up. They were bad. And it's like destroyed sole shoe. See if I can find a photo of how bad it was. I shit you not. They were worse than this almost. They were like this, man. All right. They were like this. It's like this. It's the same. It was pretty much the same, They were like, that's probably the best picture to show you how they were. They were like this, man, and they were torn up on the side. Well, they were like this, torn up on the side and everything, and it was bad, man. How are you gonna? And it's disgusting, really. It had holes in it like this, with just this part wasn't ripped, just the pad was underneath, right? And it was bad, all right. I don't know if it was just the pad. I think it was just through some of the rubber, but Reddit, shoe, daughter, school, cigarette. See, school, daughter, shoe, daughter, school, child support. Rest in plane. I don't want to click images on that one, but I wish I could find the post. But yeah, that's just like you do all these things in a society that's founded on woman worship, and it's just like the man won't even get his daughter when the woman is mistreating him, and that's just sad, man. That's just a sad situation. All right, and let's go back and read 2nd Esdras 15:6 again. All right. Says, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. And it all goes back to these heathen customs, man, this wickedness, because it didn't stem from Jake, originally. That was a learned behavior of us, because we were originally supposed to be walking in righteousness through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, with his commandments, all right? But we didn't, all right? And, we started following the ways of the heathen, which that's how we got things like Christmas, which comes from Saturnalia, and how we got Halloween, which comes from Sam Haines, and what's the other one? There's another word for it. There's another holiday for it, and like Christmas goes back to Yule as well as Saturnalia, and you have all these different things. They go back to just wickedness, man, and that's hey, man. It's everywhere, man. It's everywhere, and everybody loves it too. And you can't even tell them that's bad because they love it. So let's get Ecclesiastes 10:6. It says, "Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place." So all these ideologies, white knighting and woman worship, and all the other things, and all the other wickedness too. It's folly and all the stupidity and things like that's fighting like that. They're set in great dignity, right? And the rich sit in low place. So the people that are telling you, hey man, that's not right. Just mind your own business. And the whole situation could have been, you say, oh, you're defending that man for being, no, that man shouldn't have never done that. That woman should have never run his mouth. He shouldn't have been so belligerent and drunk in public. That's the whole situation could have been avoided if none of these things were done, all right, for lack of a better word. All right, if none of these things were done, then if they weren't out there in public bickering. That guy wasn't super, shit-faced drunk, as they say. That woman wasn't, egging him on. And then the whole situation was wicked. All right? The whole situation was wicked. All right? In this situation, they're probably going to look back on it and laugh on it. Ha, ha, ha. Remember that? All right? White knights are pathetic. And more so, the world's pathetic, man. It's just wicked society. Everything's just wicked these days, and it's disgusting. So that, we're going to go ahead and close out. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about that, right? As Forrest Gump would say. So that's all I have to say about that. It's wicked, man. Hate to see it, but hey, man, the society it's crumbling. It's on its way out, and we can't wait for it. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, Shalom.